Leo, my man, how you doing?
I'm pretty fine. Can you hear me well? Are you fine?
We
Sounds
can.
good. It's
We hear,
perfect.
we can hear you sounding clear from Brazil. Another
Yeah.
country to tick off the map. What I'll do, everybody, we'll get straight into it, but we are really ahead of time. We're doing really well. So I may just say to everybody, if you do have a question with regards to Leo and his expertise in the legal sector, and he'll talk in a lot more detail. But if you have any questions, whack it in the comment section and we'll get them on board without a doubt. So, Leo, we've got a bit more time than usual. I think we said 20 minutes, but we can go a bit longer.
Okay.
Could you explain to the listeners who you are, what you specialize in, and feel free to really elaborate of your story? And if you don't mind, because I know it, a bit more on the educational journey, which has helped you to get to where you are now. That makes sense.
Okay, of course. First of all, I would like to thank you and Amy for this amazing invite. For me, it's an honor, it's a privilege to be here and be part of this event. I know that we are facing a big problem all over the world. Everybody sad, but today is a great day for who works with sports. It is a day that marks the sports development and peace. Just to explain for everybody that's listening, I'm a lawyer, a sports lawyer. Nowadays I live in Brazil. I'm a Brazilian and live here. I hold a master's degree in international sports law from the University of Lleida, Spain. I also hold a post-graduation certificate of social security law, and now I will finish and hold a certificate from the data protection. Regarding my work, I usually advise players, athletes, coaches, clubs related to sports. Since I'm in Brazil, you can imagine that I work more with football than other kind of sports. I had some relation also with esports, electronic sports, but most part of what I do it's football. And also I am a partner in a company called Stars, and we provide patrimonial advice for athletes and their families. Which we do is to directly then to their investments, where they can put their money, where they can hold a little bit their money and do intelligent investments, since when they finish their careers in a professional way, football, they can continue have money to get their lives in the same status that they are. That's most part of what I do. And regarding my academic background, I hold this master degree, and I'm always trying to improve myself with courses and speeches of events that are related to sports.
Look, we're going to go back in time. Leo is like a deer as well. I have never met Leo yet in person, but we've been connected for at least 3 years through Twitter and through social media. And I actually interviewed Leo on my podcast show when he was just finishing his master's. Exactly. So I just wanted you, just for people, what you're doing now is at the elite end, right? But I want people to just go back if they're just starting out. How has your international master's degree supported you looking back out of interest?
It's just to compliment you, as you know, every time that anyone asks me some tips or advice regarding an academic certificate or something that can help them to improve themselves in sports, I always indicate to you to talk with those people, because you help them. And unfortunately, in sports, we don't have a lot of. It's kind of hard to find material to help you. You need to be in something that is extremely directly and strictly related to sports. So when I come returning some years ago, when we started to talk, I was finishing a master's degree, and I told you exactly what I'm saying now. Ed, thank you, because you helped me at that time that I could find a lot of interview podcasts that could help me to improve myself. So every time that anybody asks me, I always say the same thing. Look, you need to find what you like. What kind of sports thing you want? You want marketing, you want law, you want medicine, you want business area, because it's a sports is an area that can work with a lot of things. You have all over a brand thing to do. So you need to focus. And I always say then, look, don't do a master if you don't talk with anybody before. Don't go there. You need to talk with them. But when you go talk with that person, don't say, oh, I love sports. Please, can you give me an opportunity? No, man. Everybody loves sports and everybody wants an opportunity. Tell them why you are different from the others. Ask, look, I am looking forward to have an opportunity in sports. I love sports. I do this, I do that. I play basketball. I play football. I think that football nowadays needs to do a research about the sports and what they are facing, and talk with that person. Some have a big ego, and that's a problem, and we need to find a fight against that in sports. But most part of them will help you, and that's a great thing. So make research about what area of sports you want, and talk with people that will help you. And that's a great thing, because you need that. Anybody will give you an opportunity just to say, oh, give me an opportunity because I love sports. Everybody loves sports. So,
yeah, well, we both got the similar response to that. Like, the key thing goes back to Xavi's message in his summit speak: add value. Like, if you want to do a master's in sports law, do a blog post or something on LinkedIn. I'm just giving you ideas. And then you bounce that idea with somebody who's in that current role. And that's how meaningful connections happen, meaningful conversations, mentors get developed. And this is why we get along so well. Like, when we're doing a WhatsApp call, we don't have a little chat. We go in depth in how we want to see the future of the sports industry develop with other like-minded people. And I just wanted to say that question earlier, because it's been a journey. Like, what you're doing now, you're really in the thick of it from a work employment perspective. But a few years ago, you were still a student in brackets. So just to move forward now, out of interest, what are the biggest, what's that one skill set that has supported you with your career development for people to apply today at home?
Practice, always practice, and never give up. You need to practice. You need to study a lot. You need to read. You need to learn and put your face to fight. You need to go for it. You need to ask. You need to send emails. You need to talk with people. You need to call them, because sports, even it's really closed market. It's hard to enter on it. It's hard to get an opportunity, and you can never give up. It's like sports. You can never give up when you are in a game, when you are playing something. And what I say is not just add value, but you need to be different from the others. Like, nowadays, when you see everybody writing and studying about the same subject, go and try to find another one, because everybody's doing the same thing. You need to be different from the others. So what I say is practice, study, read books related to players, athletes, biographies, like that one that's behind you, about Alex Ferguson. That's a great book to read, and you can never give up. You need to practice. You need to go forward what you want. That's the big thing.
So for people to apply that, I understand exactly where you're coming from. A lot of it's come down to persistence, doing the reps.
Exactly.
And so just on that note, what is the first step you would give somebody? Like, let's say we all have good days, bad days, but how do we cope on those bad days to not give up, out of interest, from your perspective in the work you do?
Exactly. Yeah, I always say a lot of people uh, talk with me about that, and I always say never give up. You need to be different. It's hard, we know that, but nowadays you have a lot of opportunity. You have internet, you can talk with a lot of people, you can get connections. But if you stay, okay, everybody's at home now, but if you don't go to get it, you never get it. So go to some events related to sports, read books, listen to some podcasts, and that will help you. I'm sure about that because it's really hard to get an opportunity and you need to be different. You have a lot of options, you have material. Sometimes I send for the people my material from my master. I send in books, PDF documents. I don't have problem with that. It's a free document you can find on the internet, but you need to go for it, you know. And that's the thing that I say. You need, if you want it, go get it, you know.
Absolutely. Just going now into the topic of sports law, which is a huge area of the sports industry.
Yeah.
What have you learnt the most from working with athletes or footballers, as you said earlier, with regards to like football and sports law? Like, how does it mix? What have you learnt the most with regards to these two sectors?
That's a great question because every time that I say that I'm a sports lawyer and I work with sports, a lot of people think that, oh, what do you do? You just tell about the players, what do you say? So most part of it is to help them with the contracts, labor contracts, sponsorships. In a corporative way, we can help clubs in things related to contracts, employment contracts, also sponsorships, and issues related to consumer areas, social security, taxes. We can provide advice to athletes in their transfers. So just an example, here in Brazil, we have a law that's an health literacy law that provides for students a right to have half of the payment of the ticket. So here's some clubs, they don't have this law applied. So the law help the clubs to provide the regulation with this law. Just an example, because we have a lot of things related to compliance, regulatory, government affairs related to sports, which is provided by the lawyer with the club. This advice, help them in things related to sports. Now that we are facing this epidemic and this spread, we know that all the events, sports, they are finished. We don't know when we return. I read today that Bundesliga from Germany will return the tournament since they provide some measures related to avoid the viewers. I didn't read it in this entire news, but we know that what probably they will say. And since we are facing that, you could read that all the clubs, not just FIFA, also they are providing some legal advice to regulate at this moment contracts, payments. You saw that Barcelona put their payment last that was they put because they are not receiving payment for image rights because they are not showing themselves TV rights. So that's what a lawyer do and help them. And we advise them. It's a great area from sports, and we always are in together with the agents, with the clubs, to help and make the sports a better place. Let's say like this.
I find the work you do fascinating. Other lawyers we've had Beverly, we're going to have Dev later. And honestly, every lawyer I've interviewed on my podcast is always a different perspective. It's never just, I'm a sports lawyer, it's the same journey. I've honestly done different angles. And the one thing I just want to highlight now there is no televised sport at all. Like, in your opinion, how important now is the spirit of sport in your perspective in general?
Yeah, so we need to. Sport is a tool. It's a fundamental tool for peace and development. It avoids conflicts. It helps the people to get connected. Sports has a fundamental impact in the life of a young person that will start to training to have a healthy. They will learn moral. He will learn ethical. So that's the importance of sports. Nowadays, we are facing again a big problem. It's sad what what we can observe in the world. I have friends all over the world, and I talk with them every day. And everybody's sad. Everybody in their house is isolated and praying for better days. And even with that, we know that sports help our minds because everybody's at home and trying to do some exercise, even in their room, living room. So, and also just to complement, we are facing not just a health problem, but that will have an impact on the economy. But next year we have the Olympic Games. Is that what I told you yesterday?
Yeah.
We have the Olympic Games. We have in 2022 we have World Cup. In 2023 we have a PAN, and in 2024 we have Olympic Games again. So in 4 years from now on, we will have 4 big sports events, and probably sports will help not just health, peace, but will help economy also. One thing that I really love sports is the connection. Everybody's connected about sports. And sometimes I say that I remember when I was in Spain, I would say, "Oh, I am from Brazil," and the guy say, "Oh, Ronaldinho, Pelé." So sports is a kind of, "Oh, I know this place because of this sport." So it's really good, this thing, and that's the importance of sports and for development and for peace.
Absolutely. And we've just got a few questions coming in. We've actually got one from Chavi from our last summit chat. So have a quick read, but the main question is, what should players' responsibilities be right now? I think this is a big question, but feel free to read it and please share your thoughts from it, especially from
First of all, thank you, Ravi, for your question. That's an amazing question. I believe that since we are facing this big problem, the players had this social knowledge and social responsibility, because if they receive their money, that's a great payment, it's a great amount, they would kind of prejudice the place that they work, the club, because they have more employees there, people that don't appear, but they are fundamental to the work and for this club. I believe that their responsibilities, they are really right. I believe they got this social knowledge and they are extremely right. For the contract, they will be negotiated. They will have this decrease of their payments, but I think that they are really right. They have a lot of money yet, so they won't face a big problem now. The problem occurs when it's a small club that they don't receive payment, but now we know that FIFA has a fund that will help, probably will help. So it's everybody trying to help each other in face of the big problem that we are facing. So the act that the Barcelona players had, and not just Barcelona, but the others had, it's amazing, and that makes we really happy for sports. That's what sports about.
Absolutely. Again, I'm referring back to Xavi because he said some great points about sometimes we've got to take a big challenge on, and we're certainly in a big challenge in a global standpoint, and this is when unity is all about. And so while we're doing this event, my friend, so we've got another little comment here just to share with the audience as well, which is great to see and hear. And there's another one. We've got another question. I think you'll recognize this one in a second, Leo. Just here we go.
Yeah.
Tijana. This is a good one.
Brandon, what was your most challenging? Oh, that's great. Yana is a great friend. She was my master friend there. It was friend partner, is a great friend. And the big problem is when you finish the master is to find really a placement to work with sports, because you have a lot of opportunities, you have a lot of people. And that's what I told you about. You need to focus on what you want, because you have a lot of opportunity. And sometimes I would say, oh, I know about basketball. But the guy say, no, but is football or basketball? What do you want? Because it's impossible for you to work in all the areas. So if you are from football, study about football and focus on football. If you want basketball, focus on basketball and other areas. It's kind of really hard to know about football, basketball, marketing.
Yeah,
Doping,
you hit the surface. Yeah,
exactly. That's here in Brazil. I don't know in all other countries, because here, if you focus on something, you need to go straight that. Because if you say that you know about everything, a lot of things, it's really hard. So focus on it. But it's really nice to hear from Tiana. I hope that you were well.
absolutely. And just to follow up on that, I think that's a really important point for people who want to go into the industry. It's better to go, they say, better to go 2 inches in something than 2 inches wide. Like if you just spread the surface and try and be a lawyer, try and be a marketer, try and be a salesperson, try and be a podcaster, you end up spreading your skill sets instead of just focusing on one and going full out at it and committing. You'll commit more. So that's a really important point. Leo, I've really enjoyed this conversation. It's refreshing to have a legal perspective of players, especially it's a current topic at the moment. Out of interest, how can people interact with you on social media?
On social media, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's the same name. It's here. I don't know. And it's the same name, my name and my last name, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. There you have my email. You can find it. And also on Instagram, you just put my name and you find it.
Amazing.
Well, for everybody that looks something, advice for sports.
I've just seen another question come through. We've got time. Here's another one from us. So have a little read, my friend.
Oh, the FIFA Master. In fact, I didn't do the FIFA Master program. Tips and tricks is they have in their website the requirements you need to fulfill it. You have not just on FIFA, but in also Later Master and Easy Master from Spain. The tip that I do is read the requirements, try to work with something related to sport also in your community, in your city, in your country. I think that you probably know any club, even that's a small club, or any athlete. Try to create something related to sports, like a congress, an event for sports in your community. Talk with athletes, with professionals from the area. That will help you in your resume, and try to find the requirements on FIFA, on LATA or Easy Master program. Fulfill it. Talk with people that have done the master before, because you need to know what you do, what place you need to go, how much money you need to spend, and what your projections for the future, if that will help you to achieve your ends.
Absolutely. And we got one more. I think the questions are coming in now, but this is the final one. I think this is quite interesting with regards to the emergency health fund and what's going on. So let us know if you can share your thoughts on this, Leo.
Super. If I don't know this institution, I don't know this Akakoro institution, I don't know how they are regulated, because I believe that for FIFA to put money for a foundation, this foundation needs to be recognized. So I don't know if this is a national foundation that is recognized by law, not just in that that city, but in that country, if that have a related to some federation, national federation. I need to check it. I cannot say if FIFA will provide help for this foundation since I don't know this foundation. Sorry.
No worries. No, hey, you're saying it how it, like as you know, Leah. These different legal it's always updating. So this is another thing I've learned about lawyers, how federations and the legal system changes. With its regulations, it's very interesting. Look, Leo, I'm just going to put this here for the live audience. Please just comment below. Comment below just your biggest learning lesson from Leo from Brazil. I'm really intrigued of what you'll say. And also, I know Leo will be happy, and we're certainly proud. Now I can tell him we've got Common Gold as our social impact partner for today. So use education2sport/impact where you can make a donation to COVID-19. Also, if you want the replay of this whole summit, so far we're probably hitting about 7 hours. You can put your email in and we can notify you when the replay is available. But Leo, been such a pleasure to have you involved in the summit, and thank you for joining us today.
Ed, I needed to thank you again for this amazing invite. I'm really happy with this event. I was watching some people before me. It was amazing. You, as always, helping the people with sports career and sport advice. Thank you, everything. I hope that everybody that's listening are well. So thank you for everything.